Happy day everyone, this is the continuation video of digestion and absorption. In last video we have ended up with the products which we got from the action of pancreatic and bile juice. Now the intestinal juice gonna act on these final products and we will be getting the end product which are going to be absorbed by our blood and lymph. Let's get into the video. Now the dipeptides which we got from the action of pancreatic juice will be acted upon the dipeptides and it will be converting into amino acid. In the similar way, maltose will be acted upon by maltase and it will be splitted into glucose plus glucose. Coming to lactose, it will be acted upon by lactase and it will be splitted into glucose plus lactose. Talking about sucrose, it will be splitted into glucose plus fructose. Now the nucleotides. The nucleotides will be acted by nucleotidases which will be converting it into nucleosides. Now the nucleosides will be splitted into sugars and bases using of nucleosidases. Please note this down words, it might be confusing. This is nucleotidases and this is nucleosidases. Okay, it will be ended up as sugar and bases, which is this basic form. And coming to di and monoglycerol, it will be acted upon by lipases and it will be splitted into fatty acids and glycerol. All these are the end products which is going to get absorbed by the blood and lymph. Okay, so coming to the next one. The breakdown of all these molecules will be happening in the duodenum of the small intestine. Now the molecule will be absorbed by the jejunum and ileum of the same small intestine. Now we have some undigested and unabsorbed substances also, right? That will be going to the large intestine. Large intestine we don't have specific much function to talk about while discussing on the digestion, but it has very small amount of function like absorption of some water and minerals and certain ducts takes in the small intestine, and it also secrete mucus which will be help in othering the waste because it is getting the undigested and unabsorbed food materials. That is obviously it is a waste, so it will be helping in the othering the waste. So coming to the feces, what is this? This is the unabsorbed substance, okay, which will be eliminated from our body. It will be saved in the cecum. We all know that in the large intestine we have three parts: cecum, colon and rectum. So it will be stayed in the cecum, and how it will be coming from the ileum to the cecum through the ileocecal wall, because ileum is the last part of the small intestine and the cecum is the starting of the large intestine. Through ileocecal wall, this unabsorbed material will be passing. Okay, now coming to rectum, from cecum it will be coming to the rectum and it will be stored here temporarily until the defecation has been happened. What is defecation? That the removal of the waste material from our body. And all the activities are controlled by both local and central nervous system. All the activities in the sense of the digestion activity which are taking place. Now, absorption of digested food. How it is getting absorbed? Each food will be getting absorbed by our blood and lymph in different way. We are going to talk about that. So what is first of all absorption? Absorption is the end product of digestional passes through the intestinal mucosa into the blood and lymph. That is the process of the end product getting into the blood and lymph. How this is called absorption. Now what are the different types of absorption we have here? Simple diffusion, facilitated transport, osmosis and active transport. So what is simple diffusion? Simple diffusion is simply from moving to the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, it depends on the gradient. What is gradient? Is nothing but difference. If you have 10 molecules here and if you have 2 molecules here, the flowing of molecule from the 10 to 1, that is higher concentration to lower concentration, simple diffusion. And what are the molecules taking place here? That is monosaccharides like glucose, amino acid and chlorine is taking absorbed by the body by simple diffusion. Now coming to facilitated transport. Glucose and amino acids are getting absorbed by facilitated transport. What is a facilitated transport? Facilitated transport is carried out by a specific enzyme, a carrier molecule we can say. Okay, the carrier molecule will be attached to the product which is going to be get absorbed and the shape will be inverted. Once that absorption is done, it will be reverting back to the same its original position so that it will be attached to the next molecule which is going to get absorbed. So facilitated transport, as the word suggests, it will be facilitated by a carrier protein. And H2O, you all know the very basic term osmosis. So H2O is like getting absorbed by osmosis. And active transport. Active transport means which will be spending the energy, because all the simple diffusion and facilitated transport, they are like together towards along the concentrated gradient, but here it will be opposite to the concentration gradient. That's why it needs the energy, that is ATP molecules. So amino acid, monosaccharides such as glucose and sodium are getting absorbed by active transport. All these are correct. Okay, glucose can be absorbed by 3 ways. Like that, amino acid also can be absorbed by 3 ways. So these are the types of absorption happening in our body. Now the fatty acid and glycerol, if you see, we got the byproduct fatty acid and glycerol from di and monoglycerol, which is acted upon by the lipases. These won't be directly absorbed by your body, that is blood and lymph, like this. First, what it will do, it will be converted into micelles, that is small particle. After that, it will be passing through the intestinal mucosa. From intestinal mucosa, it will be converted into chymomicrons, which is the small end products which can be absorbed by our bloods now. Okay, this chymomicrons first will be traveling to the lymph vessels. Now from the lymph vessels, it will be directly going to the blood. So fatty acid and glycerol won't be directly absorbed by the blood. It will undergo these process and will be directly getting into the blood. So coming to refer the table for the absorption into. So we have absorption taking place in saliva, salivary glands, stomach, and in small intestine, large intestine. So what are the molecule substances that is getting absorbed? You can refer to the table given in the NCERT. So it will be easier for you to get the differentiation. Now, one thing you have to remember is maximum absorption is taking place in the small intestine. Okay. Now we are coming to the assimilation. What is assimilation? Now what are the things we have done? We saw upon till absorption. Now the blood is getting absorbed. The molecules are getting absorbed by the food. So now what is the process of assimilation? What is assimilation? Is nothing but the utilization of the food. What are the molecules we got and which is absorbed by the blood? Now it will be moving to the tissue and the tissue starting utilizing it. So that is called assimilation. And the coherent fecus, which is stored in the rectum temporarily, we talked about it here. Yeah. Now the neural reflex will be initiating the process to eject our fecus outside the body. This process is called defecation. So this is the last process by which the ejection of feces to the outside through the anus, the waste materials will be removed from our body. So this is the whole process of digestion which we saw. So firstly, the food is getting intake by the mouth. From mouth it will be moving to the buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. And what are the things happening over here? What are the byproducts from which we are getting from the each biomacromolecules? And after that we are seeing about the absorption and assimilation and defecation. So from which the lesson is getting ended. I will be giving a quick revision of all this process which we talked about, so that whole lesson will be, you can revise it quickly. Thank you.